Good morning, everybody, and a huge welcome to this, our fifth session in the series we are running with UK Construction Week, focusing on cultural change within the built environment. And today is a really special session because it's not just talking about cultural change. This is actually action. This is the creation of a national register of tradeswomen. We change the culture of the industry. We get more people in, more diverse people in, who will change the culture of our industry. So I'm really excited about today. And today is really powerful because it's the launch of the register for tradeswomen to actually sign up and to become part of this really exciting opportunity. So my name is Lovelace. I'm the founder and chief dot joiner at Building People. I'm going to provide a very quick introduction to Building People. And what I'd like to encourage you to do, please, is to be part of what we're doing, be part of Building People. So help us today to make some noise. If you're on social media, you can see all our various usernames and our handles. Please use Join In, Building People, UKCW as hashtags. And please do also join in with the actual event. So on my screen over here, I can see the chat through the Construction Week portal. Please do chat. We'll be capturing all your thoughts, your suggestions, your comments, your ideas and your challenges. So be part of the chat. Also, please do use the Q&A function to put questions in that will be then shared with the panel later on in the session. So we're asking you to join in. And we're also asking you to join in to help make Building People happen, to happen more powerfully, more effectively across the built environment. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Building People now. The link is on the page to our crowdfunder, and we're crowdfunding to basically replicate what we've created so that any organisation can use our underpinning platform to help more diverse people access opportunities across the built environment. So very briefly, this is the slide that we created back in 2017 when Building People was born. Arguably, I've been in industry for now 20 years. Arguably, this has been like this for a long time. Please don't take it literally, but what we're showing is that it is fragmented out there. There is a huge amount of activity focused on diversity and inclusion, focused on skills and careers, focused on social value. It's not joined up. So wouldn't it be easier if there were just one place that brings all this together, that enables individuals to actually find and access the multitude of opportunities that exist? So that's what I spent the past 3 years badgering people about. We launched our prototype on Tuesday at Construction Week. And I'm very briefly just going to show you what this looks like. I don't want to steal any of the thunder from Stopcocks and the team today, but just to give you an understanding that we use what we call our 6-button approach. What we've created is something that can be replicated. It can be white labeled. So all those organizations that have this reach into diverse audiences can take these 6 buttons and have this on their website. So they can have access to a platform that provides over 300 organizations that have this reach into diverse audiences and that can help people find work experience, or maybe it's a job. It might be a game or a case study, a mentor, PPE, it's what's out there for support. We've also created a partnership with Designing Buildings Wiki, and this is where we've aggregated content focused on diversity, inclusion, skills and careers, and social value, all in one place. Ask a Person, as you'd imagine, it's an e-mentoring service. It's just an opportunity just to say, hey, I've got a question, can you help? And learning and events and work opportunities are listings of what's going on, activities, courses, training, and vacancies, from work experience to placements to jobs. And resources, as you'd imagine, is quite simply useful resources and content. The last 4 I've shown you, from Ask a Person to resources, are all focused on surveying, which is our proof of concept. Search organisations, find information is across the built environment. With your help, we want to take this to every trade, every profession across the built environment. So that's enough about Building People, almost. What I just want to show, the last 2, I can't forget these last 2 because actually this is what we're all about. So we've listed here organisations that are doing the hard work. It's Black professionals in construction. They have a portal of BAME owned businesses, so you can find them. And Stopcocks, you'll hear a lot more about that. But here's a link to the National Register of Tradeswomen, which Hattie will go on to explain and talk about. And finally, this one is final from Building People. We would be nothing if it wasn't for the communities that underpin what we do and that we are seeking to enable. So we brought together 6 communities. We're hoping to create a community focused on disabled people. So if you're involved in that space, please do get in touch. And just as an example, we have about, I think, 35 organisations. And what I love is these organisations, part of the community that works with women, with girls, have all said, this is about Stopcocks today. This is about the register. We're going to stand back and let this session be focused on a really tangible action we can all do. So we have organisations that are part of what we're doing, that are supporting this. And if anybody out there would like to join in, it's really easy. You just do. Simple as that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to take a huge amount of pleasure. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I tend to get a bit overexcited at this stage. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to take a huge amount of pleasure in introducing Hattie Hassan, MBE. Hattie, please do put your camera on and unmute yourself. Hattie is the founder of Stopcocks. She's also the founder of the National Register for Tradeswomen. I could wax enthusiastically about Hattie for simply ages, which kind of defeats the point of today. But suffice to say, Hattie, I'm going to put myself on mute and hide my camera. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat. So please, everybody, do join in. Tell us your stories, share your ideas, your comments, ask some questions. Hattie, I'll pop up on occasion to share all of that. In the meantime, a huge welcome over to you and to the Register of Tradeswomen. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rebecca, and thank you, Building People, UK Construction Week, for allowing us to, and everyone else who's stepped back really and allowed us to have this moment. It's something that we've been building towards for, well, I would say for quite some years, but everything that we've been doing has kind of led us to this point, the point of today. And if you're looking at the screen, you'll see 3 other names. Possibly they can put their cameras on, because I'm going to be talking to Vicky Thompson, Alice Illidge and Karen Boom. Vicky and Alice are tradeswomen who are taking time out of their day, and I think you can hear some traffic going on in the background. If they can turn their cameras on, that would be great. If it's not safe, then obviously don't do it. And Karen is a sparky, extraordinaire and great supporter of ours, and has been with us on this journey for a long time. So I'm going to be talking to those later on. So, but what I'm going to do is, if it's possible, I'm going to share my screen now, because I have a short bit of presentation to hold on a sec now. Let me just, there we go. Okay, so, right, so the Stopcocks National Register of Tradeswomen. Why do we need such a thing? Well, particularly over the last few months, we've been hearing lots of stories, and it's been something that's been very close to my heart, and I'm actually going to allow my mum to tell you.
I was married to very jealous and violent men, and then when I needed some work done, I was so scared to call anyone. You know, if a man come in the house, he would be very upset, very violent with me. So I was always scared of calling some workmen in the house, whatever happened. It would have been much better if we had a woman doing it, really.
Yeah, now, that was just giving you a little bit of an insight into my upbringing and why this is so important to me. And it happens to be this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Week, month. And I think what people don't realise is that it's a lot more common than we think. So let's just have a listen to this.
A national helpline for victims of domestic violence has seen a 25% increase in calls and online requests for help since the UK lockdown. That's according to the charity Refuge. They say they've had hundreds more calls last week compared to 2 weeks earlier. Campaigners have warned the coronavirus restrictions could heighten domestic tensions and cut off escape routes for victims. Thomas Moore.
So, this is something that's been dear to my heart for many years and something I've always wanted to do. But let's talk about what the National Register of Tradeswomen is, and hopefully you'll get some kind of insight as to why we need it. It's and how it's going to change the future for the whole industry. So let's just immediately say it's actually a connection between customers and tradeswomen. Now, the connection between customers and tradeswomen is very, very important. It's the way in which we get ourselves out there. It's the way in which customers can see a difference in the industry. It's a way in which women can empower themselves. And I'm going to go on to talk about that as well in a bit. But it's the register itself is a very different animal, if you like. It's not a directory. So I remember when I was teaching, now I used to be a teacher, and the blue book that we had, which basically counted the number of people that came into school and if their attendance, but it was much more than that. If we lost that blue book, we were in fear of our lives. That blue book had everything in it. And so that's why I was very passionate about calling this a register, because it's not just a list of names. It's a way to change our industry, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for so many years. And actually the COVID thing really gave me an opportunity to do that, because I was furloughed, sitting around with time, and I decorated the whole house and I had nothing nothing else to do, so to speak. So I thought, well, let me focus on this. And our crowdfund was very successful, and it's led us to this day where we're able to launch it for tradeswomen to start signing up. So, and when we've got a load of women on there, we will launch it, and then the connection between customers and tradeswomen can begin. But what else? It's actually also a method of counting actual numbers of existing tradeswomen. Now, for years, this heady figure of 1% has been bandied about, of 1% of plumbers are women and 1% of electricians are women, and it's like, well, we don't actually really know that. So one of my overriding things has been, if we don't count us, we don't count. So we must be counted in order for us to count. And the register is a way in which we're going to really count the real numbers of tradeswomen. We're going to count how many tradeswomen there are in all different parts of the country, so that we can use that information to drive change. For me, it's always been that I never do something for one thing. I didn't become a plumber because I wanted to work with pipes. I became a plumber because I love water and love metal and love problem solving. And I think a lot of tradeswomen come into trades not necessarily because of the trade itself, but for some other reason. And for me, it was to do with empowerment of myself. And there you go. You see, by fixing other things, I was able to fix myself. And I think that's true for a lot of tradeswomen and a lot of vulnerable women that the register will help. We're wanting to help them in more than one way. So it's not just a way in which customers can find tradeswomen. It's also a way in which we can be visible in the world. It's a way that vulnerable women into the houses they go into, that we go into, should I say, can see us, because you can't be what you can't see. I know that's a cliche, but it's true. And so we want to be in as many houses as possible, so that people can actually see us and think, actually, I might want to do that. I can do that. And the way that we want to empower vulnerable women is not only just by being role models, but we want to create a school for tradeswomen where women can train in safe environments. There's a lot of people training out there, and we continuously hearing stories of women not feeling confident in the environments that they're in. That's because the environments have been like that forever, and it takes a long time to change. But we haven't really got I personally haven't got tons of time left, and I want to make a change, you know, as soon as I can, really, and now is the right time. So we are going to increase the numbers of tradeswomen coming into the trades, or all trades, not just plumbing. We've been helping plumbers for the last 10 years, and we've helped countless women become plumbers. But now we want to spread that to all trades, because we believe that if you've got a way in which women can train, then those numbers they will come in. You know, if there's more of us, if I'm not the only one, or if I'm not the only woman in my college, or if I'm not the only woman that I know, then we can actually start to build something that can grow into something really tangible. One of the things that the register also wants to do, as well as creating training places for women to train in trades, is a way for women to access funding for training. Now, we know that funding is a big thing, and as if you come into the trade as a youngster, as an 18-year-old, 18 to 20, you may get your course fully funded. Most women are coming into the trade after 25, so they're not getting the funding they need to do the training. And we know it's more difficult. Research shows it's more difficult for women to access finance and money than it is for men. So we want to allow, create a way in which women can access funding and train in trades. I'm sure that Vicky and Alice and Karen are all going to talk about how important it was training in trades and how it's helped them in their future lives. But I believe this is a truth, and that is, if you can get diversity into a group, then that group will reflect its diversity. And I think at the moment we're just not as diverse as we can be, and that is in all the communities, particularly in trades. I think we really need to change the culture, and I believe that just by literally existing and by being visible within that culture, we can create the diversity we want to see, and the cultural change will follow. And I'm really grateful that Building People have allowed us to be part of one of those dots that we're joining. And we are also a dot joiner. You know, we're going to bring together the numbers of all trades from all over the country, so that we can say, for example, actually there's only, you know, one female Sparky in Nottingham. Come on, Nottingham, you need to get some more. Or we can say we haven't got any plasterers down in I don't know, let me think, Devon. Let's get some plasterers down there, just so that we can drive a change. And at that point, I'm actually going to just stop for a minute, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to ask if Vicky and Alice can turn on their cameras, please. How do I stop sharing my screen now? Let me see. I don't know how to stop sharing my screen. I seem to have lost my
I'm trying. Bear with me one moment.
Okay. Oops. I seem to have... Oh, there we go. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. There we go.
So I can't start my video, Hattie, because it's been disabled.
Oh well. Maybe Rebecca, I don't know if you can start it. Alice.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Let's unmute you as well, if we can.
Hello.
Hello, and Karen as well. Okay, so I want to introduce Vicky at the top in the van, and Alice down there. They've really graciously allowed us to interrupt their day to day. I see Vicky's on her way to a job, but it's very important that we see some tradeswomen, I think, here. So I've got some questions to ask you, and I wonder if we can just take turns in talking about this thing. And also, obviously, Karen there, she's electric. We're going to have a longer conversation, Karen, but please, you know, butt in, talk about some of the things that I'm going to ask you, particularly to Vicky and Alice. I want to ask you, for tradeswomen who are watching this and who are going to sign up, you've been working with the register for a few months. So in our kind of a pilot, let's just see if it worked kind of thing. We've been doing that for a few months. And I just wondered if you could tell us, perhaps Alice first and then Vicky maybe, about the ease of working with the register. How easy is it to work with the register?
The register is really easy to work for. You email me jobs, I get to accept or decline based on how busy I am, and yeah, it's a really great thing.
Okay. Okay. Your turn. Go, Vicky.
Yeah, basically the same, to be honest. I mean, my diary's pretty stacked for the next 2 weeks, which is nice to get to a point of fully booked before winter even hits. So, I mean, it definitely shows that some things are doing really well. Really easy to get work from you guys. You know, my phone is quite nicely going off quite often with work. So, yeah, it's really nice to work alongside with the register, actually. Even if I'm busy myself, then, you know, again, as Alice said, I can say, you know, I'm too busy, as I've let you guys know, nothing for 2 weeks, you know, and that's sort of a good thing as well.
Yeah, and just to say how the register works is that if some work comes up in a particular area and we know a tradeswoman in that area, we contact them and say, do you want to do this? And often they say yes, and sometimes they say can't, and that's the way it is. And we get back to the customer. The directory works in such a way that it isn't something that the public can search. Because of the way it will be running, it's very important that there's a personal interaction between the register and the customer. So, and also because a lot of the time those will be vulnerable women that the people that we're serving. So we don't just allow anyone to register. There's a huge verification process, and once you've reached those heady heights of being able to take work from the register, then it's up to you whether it fits around your day. Can you tell me, has it increased your income at all?
Yes, it really has increased my income. It makes a big difference to me saving and paying for non-essential items, which is great because I work for another company, so that pays for the bills, and this is more pocket money, I would say.
Okay, Vicky, I think it's a little bit more than pocket money for you, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit different from me and Alice. I actually don't work for a company anymore. I actually stopped working for that company because I was female. It was a bit of a hindrance. So I was out on my own. And then I come alongside Stopcocks, and actually my diary's pretty, you know, I'm pretty doing a lot of work for them in between my own customers as well. But it just made it a lot easier to not have to be searching for my work as opposed to, you know, having it given to me. It's taking a lot of stress out of my hands there. So for me, it's a bit more like a full-time job, which, you know, suits and doesn't suit when, you know, I can still go off for a week if I want to and not be there. So
yeah. I mean, one of the things again that has brought up is that depending on where you are, obviously, but we can actually we answer the phone. The register answers the phone for you, so you can just be working, and you only have to kind of look at the notifications that you'll get, and also there's an app coming up as well that's going to make it a lot easier for you to work on the hop. But we need to say that don't rely on us to make your bit. Those are not the promises that we're making, that we're going to enable you to completely rely on the register for all the work. But if it does happen to be that way, then that's fabulous. And maybe in the future we will be able to promise those things as we've got more and more tradeswomen, more and more visibility, that we will be able to. But also I just wondered about some of the services that you get from the register. So for example, I know that I've had phone calls from both of you regarding, I've been a plumber for 30 years, so experience in pretty much, well, most things. So I know that I've had phone calls from you. So one of the other things that we want to provide because of the community is mentoring. So that if somebody is a newbie or they're at somewhere where they are not so sure about what's happening, being part of the community will enable them to get advice. So I believe that, well, I know that I've spoken to both of you two on stuff. So how does that impact on your, on your being as a heating engineer or plumber?
It's really great. As we had the other day, sometimes two brains thinking about something is better than one, especially when you get a little bit stuck, or if you're thinking the worst case scenario, sometimes it's just a lot better to have two people throwing ideas around. So it is really helpful to have somebody on hand that you can call.
Yeah. Vicky, anything? I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think exactly the same. I mean, you've definitely had your fair share of calls from me. It is always really handy to know. I mean, I left a company not knowing a wide range of things. So for me, it's been a lot of learning on the job. And at a time that seemed a lot more scary than it does now. I generally never thought that I would be able to do a lot of the stuff that I've managed to start doing now, because I can just sort of give you guys a call and say, look, haven't done this before, but talk me through it. Let's do it a first time. And, and now I'm out doing those things. So it is very helpful. It's put me in a position where I never thought that I personally would get to. I generally thought sort of my learning was going to plateau when I went out alone. So it's actually been really nice to sort of have a community as well, not just yourself. I mean, I'm in quite close contact with Alice. So it is nice to have a whole community, not just, one or two people.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the things, that's one of the aims of the register, is to create the community. We've got hundreds of years of experience amongst all of us in all the different trades. So that's, and also I just have to say, because I haven't said, it's completely free for tradeswomen to sign up. It's completely free. So in a way, you're getting like completely free mentoring, someone's answering your phone for you, and the other thing that happens through the register, obviously, is the payment side of it. So what happens then? How have you found that part of the register?
I have not had any problems with payment. I think it's really simple. I invoice you. Well, I quote to the customer. I invoice you. You invoice them. And then when they pay, I get it straight in my bank, which is great. So I've not had a late payment yet, which is also really good. And if in the worst case they don't pay, you do all the hard work by chasing them, which is also takes a lot of stress out of it for us. It is really easy to work for you.
Well, you're working with us, actually, Alice.
With us.
Yeah. Vicky?
Yeah, I mean, again, the same really. I forgot what I was saying then. I do apologise. Somebody just messaged me about a job, so I lost my train of thought. But yeah, no, listen, I mean, people forget, invoices come, it happens all the time. As you know, I do, like I said, at the minute, I'm almost doing a lot of work for you guys. So there's a lot of invoices knocking around. So one or two occasionally have not come in at the point. And I mean, to be honest, I don't even have to do a thing. They're generally always paid after the day where the limit was, because everything's all done your end, and you've always contacted the customer, told them that and generally they've always just forgotten, or they've missed an email or something. So in maybe the once or twice in the however many jobs I've done, which is a lot, it's always been rectified nice and easy. So again, it is a big stress off my shoulders there as well.
Okay, well, thanks for those. There's one other thing that I just want to ask you, and it's to do with the bigger picture, and it's something that me and Karen are going to talk about in a bit. So I've got it written down here. And how does it feel to be involved with something that is designed to empower women and help them to feel safe? And why should other tradeswomen get involved, in your opinion? Should we have Vicky going first this time?
Look, I mean, I get it from the customers all the time. It's easy enough to see why it's important when, your customers always, a lot of the time they comment on it and not in the way that a normal customer would. I get a lot of grateful people tell me that they're really happy that they found a female. I get a lot of stories about, you know, people that haven't felt comfortable in the past, and that for me is more than everything to show that it's something that's worth it. Because for somebody, you know, I mean, my mum is an elderly female, disabled in her own home. I'm pretty sure that I would much prefer to send a female around in her vulnerability, and I know a lot of people feel that way. So I mean, I personally just think that seeing the benefit that when other people mention it when you're at their houses, that you know, that is enough. And for the tradeswomen, again, it's the same thing. You're getting work, but also, you know, there is a bigger picture for you. People are coming to you a lot more.
Yeah. Alice, anything to add?
I think Vicky pretty much covered it all there, but I agree. It is really important for some of the people to be able to find us because they feel safer with us in their homes. So it is very important that they find us and have the opportunity to have women work for them and that, yeah.
Unless you've got anything that I haven't thought about that you just want to say to people, because people are listening, would you encourage people just to women to sign up onto the register, even if we don't, if they're not taking work, even if they're employed, we actually want them to sign up as well because of the counting and how important it is that we get the real numbers. So give us some words of encouragement. Go.
Who's going first? Alice? Look, I just think it is really important. Listen, regardless of whether you don't do any work through the register, just knowing that, I mean, even for me, just knowing that there's a lot more females out there than I ever actually thought that there was is actually a really nice feeling. And I generally didn't know, you know, I didn't know about you. I didn't know about your business. I didn't know about Alice. You know, I didn't know about any of this before, you know, I come on. And actually, it is a really good thing to have around. And I personally wouldn't change it. I'm so glad that I actually come onto the register. So, you know, thank you for that, guys. You know, and that's it. Thank you,
Vicky. Okay.
I think Vicky pretty much covered it with what she said. But yeah, it is really great. I really enjoy working for the register for you. And yeah, I think it's just a really great thing that it actually exists.
Okay, well, we're really grateful that you took time out of your busy work schedule to come on this call and tell people what it's really like at the Chalk Face for you and as being part of the register and how important it is. So I'm going to let you two just go off and carry on with your days, and no doubt we'll speak again soon. Thank you, Alice, and thank you, Vicky.
Thanks very much, Hattie. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right, I'm going to introduce Karen to you now. Karen Boom. We've known each other for quite some time. I found a picture of us when we were young together. Karen has been kind of brilliant because we've tried to set up the register, and every time I've been down, or we've had down days, and there were times when our crowdfund was lulling, and we'd bring up Karen and we'd say, oh no, this is happening, that's happening, and she said, don't worry about it, and she kept us going, and not only financially supported and is a patron of the register, but has, you know, great insights into why this thing is an important thing. So hello, Karen. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about why and why.
Why and why? Well, I just wanted to add something on the end of what you were saying about why it's important to encourage women to join. What I'd love to see is for every school in the UK and every, you know, training environment to be bombarded with pictures of tradeswomen, because there is this concept amongst girls that, you know, being in a trade is not something that you can do, and you absolutely can do it, and you can look good doing it, you know. It's, yeah, some days you get dirty, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think one of the things that makes me very sad is that there is this perception out there that unless you've got beautiful nails and glowing hair, that's somehow not acceptable. You know, you can't call yourself a woman. So anyway, but that's another tangent. But I've always felt passionately about the fact that, you know, there's not enough women in trades, and that it's very difficult to gain entry to the trade. You know, I retrained at 40 and I basically paid for all of my own training. And then when I qualified, I sat there and thought, oh, wow, what am I going to do now? Because I felt quite isolated. I had nobody really to mentor me, and you know, social media 10 years ago wasn't really what it is now. I did Google, you know, female electricians, and I found 2, I think. And you know, so having this register and making it so available that women can go somewhere, you know, to talk about training, to find out more information, will just be amazing, because otherwise you've only got the male route, which doesn't really suit women all the time, because we come at trades from a completely different viewpoint to men. So it's just going to be amazing. I'm so excited.
Great. Hello, Rebecca, you've popped up.
I have. I couldn't help myself just to say it's so fantastic to see tradeswomen on the screen. It just doesn't happen anywhere. Well, I never see it. So I'm really loving what I'm hearing. I just wanted to say to everybody in the audience, please do use this opportunity to put in your questions into the Q&A. And there is some chat going on. And that's fantastic. And I know we've had a request to share the link so it can be shared with via LinkedIn. And this is being recorded. It will be on the Building People site, but also Construction Week will have it live on this platform, normally about 30 seconds after the recording ends, and you can share the link that way. So please do keep sending in comments and Q&A. And I know that you've got all this covered, Hattie, but just sitting here, I'd also love to know a bit more about the register in terms of your timelines, how it's going to be working for the user, etc. But I'm just going to sit here quietly, but maybe chip in from time to time because I can't help myself.
Okay. Well, I'll let you know. I mean, just before the end of the presentation, I'll show you the landing page and how easy it's going to be to get people on there. And what we want to do is we want to spend a lot of time, i.e., between now and at least the new year, getting as many tradeswomen on there as possible, because, you know, there's nothing worse than trying to find something, going to somewhere where you think they are and they're not there. So we don't want to release the register for consumers until we've got a good supply, until we think we've found, you know, all the tradeswomen. We're never going to find them all, but one of the things that we have as part of our mandate when we do launch it to customers is, if we can't find somebody, or if there isn't somebody directly on the register, we will try to find somebody. So that kind of is going to allow us some extra time. So we're going to know that there's a demand in a certain area for a certain trade, and that's going to help us in our driving of change as well. So so we're going to spend at least, where are we now? So October, November, December. We're going to spend at least 3 months trying to populate that register with all the trades that we can find. And then don't worry, there'll be plenty of updates, there'll be plenty of social media, and we're still also raising money. I know Karen can talk about a challenge that's going on at the minute that she's involved in, and the thing that we're both jointly involved in, i.e. bigger buns. Karen, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm sure she'll explain that. And there's another event next week that's still raising money, and all that money, what that goes towards is that enables us to have personnel who will find the tradeswomen. So we're actually going to have little, you know, people going out here and there to seek those tradeswomen out and put them on the register. So that's how it's basically going to start, and then we'll launch it for customers. We're in conversation with Women's Aid and Refuge and all the other organisations that work with vulnerable women. We can't put their logos on our site yet because there's some legal stuff that we've got to go through, but we're in constant meetings with them, and they were really happy that we were going to be doing this. In fact, it was because of contacts from them that said, do you know any joiners? Do you know any electricians? Do you know any plasterers? And we thought, actually, I think we do. So and that, together with the news of what was going on, and kind of just made us feel like now's the time, so let's get going with it. So hopefully that's answered that question about what operates.
I'll just add to that the link to the register has been put in the chat. So I think there's a real call to action for everybody listening to this to please push this message out. You know, any tradeswomen, any networks, any tradesmen, you know, get them to push this message out to get tradeswomen to sign up. And also I think in Construction Week has a fabulous newsletter that goes out, and we can request that link is pushed out then. Brilliant.
There's an interview going out today from Fix Radio as well that I did with them on Fix Radio. I'm not exactly certain when it's going out, but I'm not sure if Micah knows when it's going out, and she could put the link on as well for you to have a listen to that. But anyway, so let's get back to Karen, because she's been listening in on everything. So tell us about about your activities.
So I belong to a group called Warrior Women, which sounds a bit scary, but it's really not. It's a fitness group. Pre-COVID, we were doing mixed martial arts. Very sadly, obviously we couldn't go to the dojo during lockdown. Warrior Women is run by an amazing lady called Jamie McCagan, and she very quickly started putting together some Zoom sessions for us, so we were able to still feel like we were in a community and to still carry on exercising. It's actually a lot harder in your own lounge than it is in the dojo. But anyway, so, and then we, as part of Warrior Women, Jamie feels very passionately about, you know, domestic abuse and women's aid. She actually donates a percentage of all the money that she takes for classes to Women's Aid. And we work very closely with our local refuge. We collect donations for them, clothing, toys. I've personally visited the refuge on several occasions to do electrical work for them. And it's a hugely inspirational place to go. And it's quite moving as well. Anyway, so when Hattie told me about the register, I was like, oh, there's got to be a link here for the Warriors. And we would have been in the Lake District a few weeks ago doing a challenge, and we would have been fundraising for Women's Aid, which sadly we couldn't do. So I said to Jamie, how about doing a challenge and raising funds for the register? And Jamie was like, that's such a fantastic idea. So we are currently doing a marathon walking challenge. So every day, myself and 50 other women are walking, getting our steps up. We're aiming to complete either 1 marathon, 2 marathons, or 3 within 2 weeks. And we've all paid to take part in this, and we're actually directly fundraising for the register. So it's really exciting, and I've been completely blown away by the support, you know, that's come out of that, because as women, we want to support women. You know, that's what we want to do, and I think that's a very natural thing for women to do. Women want to raise each other up. You know, there is a saying, isn't there, that behind every successful woman, there's a whole heap of other successful women that have their back. And I think it is very true, because women want to see each other succeed. So yeah, that's really exciting. So that's been going since Saturday, and it finishes a week on Saturday. So hopefully we'll have some more money for the register, and we'll all get a medal and a t-shirt. So that's the important bit.
But I also know that you're getting industry involved.
Okay, so this is very top secret, hush hush. No, it's good, it's fine. No, it's not really. I'm going to be launching it tomorrow, but I just suddenly thought, I mean, I've already pledged my, you know, sponsorship for the register, and I was thinking that there must be more that I can do. What else? How can I use my social media influence for good? So I thought, you know what, I could do a calendar. So, the calendar is in progress. I've got a fantastic award-winning construction photographer involved. She's going to take the pictures. Companies have paid to sponsor a page, and we're going to be, you know, promoting products or services for them, and they're all going to donate a prize, and then to encourage people to buy a calendar, you'll go into the draw to win a prize as well. And yeah, and for every calendar that's bought, once the production costs of the calendar have been covered, that money will go directly to the register. So I'm thinking 1,000 calendars at this point, you know, but we'll see. So yeah, but that's really exciting as well.
So what would be really brilliant is when that is launched, if there's a link to it, something we can find, then maybe we can make sure that we get that out. And everyone listening to this, please, as well, if we can get that out, that would be amazing. Because I just for us, the extra means that we can bring things forward. One of the parts of our plans was this school for tradeswomen. Now we have a building that's not far from us, and we've been trying to. It's a disused Methodist church, and we've been trying to get the Methodists to allow us to have it. And luckily, it's a structurally sound building. It's got a good roof, but inside it is in need. And we have asked them to allow us to have that building for, you know, Peppercorn, and start our training courses. And they're slow in coming back to us, but as a result of putting the word out there that that's what we were looking for, we've had buildings, people coming to us and saying, well, you can use this building, you can use that building. And that has meant that we can bring forward, we thought, well, we need to run the register for ages before we can afford to do that. But actually, we've now got fundraisers who are working towards bringing money into the register, which means we can bring those projects forward. So instead of us saying, well, we've run the register for 5 years now, we've made this much profit, we're now going to start a school, we could probably start our first versions of those schools in different buildings, probably, I'm going to be bold, I'm going to say next year, as long as we're allowed to like be with people. I think probably by this time next year, we may have already started our training courses, and that just thrills me beyond words. And you know, and it's efforts from Karen and you know, those efforts, and also our industry. I forgot to say, for people who sign up quickly, there are raffle prizes, and I'm going to be making some videos over the weekend and releasing what those raffle prizes are going to be. We've had some great ones from people in our industry. And I think it's very important, don't you, Karen, that it's not just us.
Oh, it's very massively. Yeah, but it's funny because when you first started to publicise the register, there was a lot of confusion. And people were thinking, oh, you're going, you know, people didn't realise that it was going to be not-for-profit. People just thought that you were creating a directory, which, you know, I know it's not. And people were like, oh, another directory, yeah. And you'll just be taking a percentage of the profit, and you'll be setting charges and things like that. And there was quite a lot of concern and a little bit of frustration and a little bit of anger on some people's parts, not just from men, but from some women as well. And so I think it's really important that, you know, we're getting this message out there about exactly what the register is and exactly why we feel so passionately about it. And the fact that this is not just a register of tradeswomen, this is going to be a legacy. This is going to be something that, you know, when we've gone, that people will say, oh yeah, you know, Hattie Hassan, MBE, she set this ball rolling, and, you know, maybe there'll be a statue in Trafalgar Square or something. No, I'm going to be so bold to say that, because this is going to change the future of not just trades, but of the perception of what it means to be in a trade. It's going to change the future for not just girls, but children to think of things differently. I mean, look, we had the Bob the Builder, didn't we? And Bob was the builder, and Wendy just ran round after him with a dustpan and brush. We're not going to have Bob the Builder anymore. We're going to have Hattie the plumber, and Karen the Sparky, and so many more things. And this is going to change the culture of how we perceive tradespeople, you know, and that's just massively exciting.
Yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that just as you're talking about it. I think I'd like to take some questions if there are any, Rebecca, or I'd like you to just come in and say, just talk to us about whose responsibility is it? I kind of think, I've been waiting, and I've been trying to change courses, and I've been trying to do this, and in the end, I've just thought, well, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to gather some people around me who want to do it, and I'm going to do it myself.
I hear you, Hattie, because I that's exactly where I've been with building people. From my perspective, whose responsibility is it to help bring together all of these amazing opportunities so people can actually find them? And then it turns out that everybody thinks it's somebody else's responsibility. So in my case, it was, they should be doing it, therefore we can't support building people because we pay our levy to them, or because it's their role, or because simply it just, it sits elsewhere. So I completely get this, hence us launching our crowdfunder. And I've been sitting here, Karen, I'm so pleased we're recording, because that last bit from you was just so incredibly powerful. And it is, we're here all week, we're talking about culture change, and we've got this list of things that we should do. And what it often comes back to is who is going to organise a coordinated approach to going into schools, and who's going to make sure that we've got consistent information, and et cetera, and that is my absolute frustration. So I did want to ask, in terms of the who, have you got support, Hattie, Karen, from the big pan industry bodies, the organisations that work with many of the contractors and the small businesses? Who's on board?
I think, well, sorry, I'm just going to chip in there. Unfortunately, and I can only talk about things from the electrical point of view, there just doesn't seem to be an umbrella body. I mean, you've got like the competent person schemes, don't really know how much leverage they have. Then you've got the IET. Now, they're quite powerful. However, I don't really know what they can do in terms of what you're talking about at grassroots level, getting into schools. They're more concerned at the bigger company level. So I think we just fall between the cracks. I think that's what happens, is we fall between the cracks. And I've been trying to say for ages, can somebody point me in the right direction? I would love to turn up at the Houses of Parliament. If you can just point me to the person that I need to go to have this conversation, it would be amazing. But we just fall in between the cracks. So yeah. I don't understand it. It's frustrating.
Well, I got a little bit of hope because I was, being named in this year's honours list for the work with women in the plumbing and heating industry, being recognised at a royal level, has meant to me that I can now step outside of the industry. So I might be able to be the bridge. Yeah. I might be the person who now, because I've got these letters after my name, somebody might call me and say, actually, you've got this MBE for doing that work. Maybe you can come and speak to somebody, and maybe there can be some influence. I don't know who's responsible. I think everyone's responsible. I think a lot of times people say to me, do you go into schools and do you do this? Yes, we do. We do all of that. But actually, Mikey used to be a therapist, a play therapist, and she started a company called Family and Child Therapies, because you can't do play therapy with a child and then send them back into a dysfunctional family. So you have to do the whole thing. It has to be a holistic approach. So it's no good me going and saying to a girl, you go for it, you want to be a plumber, you be a plumber, when everyone's looking at her saying, oh, no, you want to be a plumber. So it needs everybody. It needs parents, it needs media, it needs companies, it needs government, it needs everybody just to say, whatever you want to do it, and we'll support you. And I don't know how we're going to get to that point.
No, I don't disagree at all, Hattie. I think certainly within building people, we're saying it's time for a bottom-up approach. So for years and years, it's and then Terry, who's the co-pilot of building people, I can just hear him echoing in my ear. But for years, it's been this top-down approach, and it's just proven that it doesn't work. And I mean, that's what drives me. And I'm going to go slightly out on a limb here, but if we go back to what Building People's created, so we've created technology that is designed to be shared with every organisation that has this reach into different communities. So whether it's minority ethnic communities, LGBTQ, whether it's young people, women, we've created this technology. And so that the point of the crowdfunder, because as I say, the response we've had is, oh, this is fabulous, but kind of, yeah, it's sort of, they should be paying for it. And fall, like you're saying, Karen, between two stools. Individuals are saying, great, but we pay our membership fee to them, they should do it. And then we've got, of course, it's a terrible time. It's COVID, it's redundancies, employers are struggling, but we cannot let diversity and inclusion slip. So my feeling is that if we can get funding into Building People and the funding goes into our, say, our women community, we could work with any one of those groups. We could add our technology to their websites, which means that any woman going onto, I mean, you know, even the Stopcocks website, actually a bad example because you're probably too good already, but say going on to one of the other ones, we can provide them with a mentoring service. We can provide them with a listing of jobs, with training, all of this underpinned with just one simple platform. So I think I'm saying today, this is a bottom-up approach. We all have to do this. There's links in the chat to the crowdfunder and some of the crowdfunder to the register for the Stopcocks register of tradeswomen. There's also links to the Building People crowdfunder, but it's only going to work if we do it together. We've got 5 minutes left. That's my soapbox. Do you want to just talk through the user experience?
Yes, yes. So
we will need to wrap up.
I can just share my screen again. Share my screen. I'll share that screen. And basically what it is the Register of Tradeswomen. So it's really, really, really easy at this point to just let us know where you are, who you are. So it's literally registeroftradeswomen.com. And if you click on this button, it actually takes you to this page and it tells you all about how the register works. There's a couple of opportunities for you to register. There's a button at the bottom there and there's a button at the top. Or you can simply just register by going join now, a very simple form. Just your name, your gender, your email address, your location, and you can just type that in, and your trade, and then a little bit of maths at the bottom. It's very, very simple. At this stage, we are gathering names. We're not asking you to put in all your information just yet. We're just asking you for this, because once we've got this, we can then target you for, we're having our HR platform isn't exactly ready yet, but we are launching this today. So there's also a little video here that you can watch about tradeswomen. It's very simple. We wanted to make it really, really simple for you to know what it's about, for you to sign up, because, we haven't got time to mess about. We've got, we're very busy people. And so this is it. And also, just to go down to the bottom there, we have been supported by all these companies. And our lawyers have been giving us pro bono work, Fernox, who are a patron of it, so I don't want to go into that too much, but basically, I don't want us to run out of time, but I need to say thank you to all those companies at the bottom there, because without them, it wouldn't have been possible for us to have this today, just a month after our crowdfunding ended. So we're very, very, chuffed about that.
It's absolutely
so.
Fantastic.
Hopefully that's answered everybody's questions, and thank you so much for allowing us to have this hour. It's been amazing.
It's
thank you, Karen.
Wonderful, Hattie. I think maybe if you just stop sharing your screen and we can have the proper pictures of all of us. Thank you so much. So all I can say is, if we really want to change the culture of the industry, we need to change how it is. The culture will change by having more people, more different people doing the jobs that we all need to have done. So please head to the register. Please push this out on your social networks. share it with all and everybody. We want more tradeswomen to sign up. So I can sit here knowing full well that my shower's leaking a couple of doors down, and that there is a woman, a tradeswoman, you know, in my local area who can come around and fix it, because you know, that is what I would personally like. And I'd like the shower not to be leaking. And on that note, so please do share the link. Thank you all so much for joining us.